Welcome back to the Kings Park Tournament Expert Division Weekend Round, hole number 3. Here we're going to be playing for the Easy Eagle with a chance at Albatross, playing a Grizzly bounce-up shot. With that being said, it is a somewhat difficult drop, so I will recommend that you bring the Guardian and also bring your longest rough iron along with you, just in case something wonky happens on the drive. You don't want to find yourself stuck in a position where you're struggling to get the eagle. We always want easy eagle no matter what. With that being said, we're going to be starting with a QB 9 plus, switching to APOC 4 plus. We're using a Power 5 Sidespin 2 Wind 3 ball, Luminary type ball. And you can play this with the Grizzly 7 plus or Guardian 7 plus. For the drive, we're starting off with the quarterback, P5 max rest. We're going to have the white ring touching the rough on the right. Then we're going to switch to our APOC / Guardian / Grizzly / long rough iron bag. Right? We're using 5 top spin, 1 left spin. We're adjusting P3 10 max. Pull straight as you can. If anything, favor a 1201 flicker. The reason for that is we don't want to get pushed into the rough on the right by favoring any 1159, right? Playing full overpower, no curl. It's nice controlled overpower. Pretty slow needle, pretty easy to hit perfect. With that being said, rates on this drive do not give you the same opportunities as perfect does. Perfect has rolled out pretty good and pretty consistent here and has always left us a shot at the Albatross. However, greats do not. If you hit a great right drive, a couple of things will happen. You're going to clip the rough one way or the other. Depending on your adjustment and rollout, you're either going to roll just out of the rough and have like a Grizzly slice shot in, or you're going to get stuck just into the rough and have a rough iron slice shot into the hole. But you can still reach. It's still an easy shot. I'll go over the slice shot towards the end. So don't freak out. It's not like it's going to be difficult to get to the hole. If something crazy happens on your drive, I've got it worked out. I know how to get you to the green. I know how to get you the easy eagle still. Not that big a problem. And if you do manage to hit perfect, you should roll out nicely and still have a good chance to play the Grizzly bounce up shot. All right. So the drives have been pretty consistent. Anything from 378 to 392 in that range has been good and given us a shot at the Albatross. Most of the drives have been right around 388, 386 to 388. All right. For the approach shot, we're playing at P4 plus 10% at slider. We're using 1 backspin and 2 left spin. Keep in mind, different rollouts on the drive may cause you to have to tweak your spin set. So that's the base spins for a good clean drive, roughly around the 388, 386 range. That's the spin set that's going to, in my opinion, work best for you. We're also playing the approach with just before circle break under power, and we're pulling it straight, but if anything, we want to favor a slight 1201 on the approach shot, but straight is the goal. So with your spin added, we're going to place the tip of the ball guide to be 1 line below the hole and 2 lines left of the hole. Or just like 1.2 lines below the hole and 2 lines left of the hole. This is the offset I'm talking about. You got this line here below the hole, and then you got this line, which is 2 lines above the hole. So you want the tip of the ball guide kind of to be situated in that corner a little bit, or just a little bit past this line here, you know, further away from the hole. This offset here is for the low wind offset. What I'd tell you is, if depending on how technical you want to get with it, This would work well for a 7 to 7.5 wind. If you have 7.6 to 8.1, then you're going to want to leave it just a little bit shorter and be like 1.125 lines short. So you know, 1.25. If you have wind 8.2 to 8.6, you'll need to be about 1.5 squares or lines short. And then if you have 8.7 to 9.1, you want to be about 3/4 into that square. I know those lines are rather thick, so it makes it difficult to see. But, you're basically going to be either on the line, a quarter into the square, half into the square, or 3/4 into the square. If that makes sense, right? And always touching the line that's 2 lines above the pin. Because we're getting different pushes from the different wind strengths. And to get this one to come in consistently, speed is a factor because it's on a side slope and you gotta run the ball up a hill and then let it curve slightly to the right to go into the hole. So if you come up that hill too slow, it drives that ball hard to the right. If you come in too fast, you don't catch any of the push to the right and you'll miss it left. But that's the setup for the low wind. Here we have 7.4, so that's where we want to be. Now, as far as wind angles go, broke this down into 3 major wind angles, and I tried to keep the tweaks as simple as possible so that they're not too difficult to follow and you still get a decent chance at this drop. 3 major wind angles here. What we're looking at is the right side of this tree, or right. This is going to be our crosswind. Anything in the tree or to the left. Basically, what we're going to do is say, look at this window in the background, kind of split the difference between these 2 signs here. But if you look at the house in the background, there's a column here just to the left side of that, the right side of that window. This is going to be our neutral angle in the middle, and then over here to the left we have tailwind. So the tweaks, this is what I got. Wind 7 to 7.5 in the tailwind angle, no change. 7.6 to 8.1 is add 0.1. 8.2 to 8.6 add 0.2. And 8.7 to 9.1 you'll add 0.3 to your adjustment. That's for the tailwind angle. If you're in the neutral, 7.0 to 7.5 minus 0.1. 7.6 to 8.6 is no change. And 8.7 to 9.1 you will add 0.1 to your adjustment. And that's for the neutral angle. If you have the crosswind angle, wind 7.0 to 7.5 is minus 0.2. 7.6 to 8.1 is no change. 8.2 to 8.6 is add 0.1. And then 8.7 to 9.1 will be add 0.2. You'll see here, I have the crosswind angle. I forget to minus 0.2 from this adjustment, and I'm just going to burn the left edge because of it. Don't forget P4 plus 10 at slider, and just before circle break under power. You see that one comes in very nicely as far as speed goes. Had I remembered to minus 0.2 on that one, I do think it would have been in the hole. So that's the basic standard shot, giving you the best chance, in my opinion, for a free-to-play Albatross. Those tweaks are not 100%. Some of them are going to need to be changed, likely. But that's what I got for now. I want to put it out there and get it out so that we're not taking too long with these shots. And I will circle back to this hole and play a wind 5-shot later to try and see if we can get a better opportunity for the Albatross. But for now, this is a good, safe play with a chance, free to play. If you don't want to risk it, or you don't want to take a chance at the grizzly shot, or if you get a wonky drive where you're not able to play your grizzly, there's a guardian backspin shot that you can play here. You can play it instead of playing the grizzly if you like. That's completely your call. I'm going to show you what I did for the guardian backspin shot, show you the result, and then you can take it from there. So I played it with max backspin, and I was using a square with my third bounce as a reference here. Now I did need to set this up a little bit further to the left and a little bit closer to the hole. So I was probably about 2 squares right of where I should have been, and about 1 square lower or further away from the hole than I should have been. And I'll snap a picture and show you that position when I get there. That is not the shot. It is this one. Also, the great right drives, or a drive that puts you in a bad position where you can't shoot down the gap, you can play. So I played this max back, 1 left. I played this at 10% at slider, using P3 numbers. And I didn't play any underpower, right? Because you're going to be pulling down into the bunker. Max backspin, 1 left spin, P3 plus 10. I know it's a P5 ball, but this is where I landed on my second bounce. You can see that we're like halfway into the square, 2 squares below the hole. And we are 1, 2, roughly 2.5 squares up above the hole. So I think this, if I played this again, I would bump it up by 2 squares, and I would pull it back towards the ball a little bit. So I would put my second bounce here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines up and 1, 2 lines below the hole. That's where I would place my second bounce to give myself a better chance of the drop. But that's it right there. So you could play this shot instead of the grizzly backspin or the grizzly bounce up if you like. Should be in range for this with that drive as well. If you happen to get stuck in the rough with a great right drive, you can play a slice shot to the green to still grab your easy eagle. And it may be a rough iron, a long iron, or maybe even you can play the guardian slice shot, but you'll need to kind of wing it for that. Like I did play a grizzly and a rough iron slice from a great right drive to test it, to make sure that we could get where we wanted to get and still safely grab our eagle. So I'm going to go over that now, just in case. If you hit the great right, you're going to come into the rough down here. Sometimes you'll roll just out onto the fairway up here. Sometimes you'll get stuck in the rough just under this tree here. In which case, you have to play it out to the left here and then slice it to the right and, bounce it up onto the green. And how I did that was I just stretched out until my bullseye was roughly centered between the bunker and the rough here. And then I count my rings to the left that I need for whatever club that I'm slicing. So if you're slicing a rough iron Nirvana, that's going to slice at 21 rings. If you're slicing the grizzly, that plays 30 rings. If you're slicing the Guardian, that plays 20. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not lying to you. That plays 24 rings. Okay, so you'll stretch out to somewhere in this area. So with my Nirvana 7, mind you, I was here at max rest. That's not even having any overpower, which is fine, right? You don't need to play this shot like a full OP slice. You just need to slice it to get around all the trees. So from max rest, count the rings to the left until you get your landing position. And then once you get there, adjust P5 plus 5% max. And then play the shot with full curl, full right slice, but no overpower. You only need overpower if you can't get to this area, without using overpower. But like I said, the rough iron, I was still able to get there with a low level rough iron. So you should be okay. You only need from there, depending on what club you're using. If you're using the Grizzly, you're going to need probably around 3 bars of backspin. If you're using their Nirvana, you probably only need about 1 bar of backspin or no backspin. And then you play it full curl, full slice, no OP, and you should hopefully be on the green somewhere. It's pretty simple slice shot. The only thing you really have to pay attention to, and why I say don't play it with overpower, is when you slide to the left, make sure that you can see your ball guide, right? If you're still in the trees and you don't have a ball guide, then maybe shift it left a little bit more, pull it down a little bit more, so then maybe you're going to land here and then just take off some of the backspin, right? But make sure that you're not going to hit the tree like that's right above you. If you set up with no overpower and then you play it full overpower, with that additional overpower, it kicks that ball in the air rather quickly, and you may clip the tree that's just above you, and we don't want that to happen. So just pay attention to that. Make sure you're far enough left where you're not having any interference with the tree. Slice it around, take your easy eagle, and run. That's worst case scenario. If you hit your drive perfect, you should have a good chance at the albatross. Even if the rollout is a little shorter or a little longer, you can still play it down that lane and you can still have a chance at the drop. You can also play the Guardian backspin shot. Now I did say, I had it backwards. I did say that it needed to move a little bit further away from the hole. It needed to move further up the hill, but it needs to move a little closer to the hole with that second bounce. So I went the wrong way. I was supposed to go closer to the hole, not further from the hole. Beyond that, Grizzly P5 standard numbers, it's plus 15 is 98, 14 is 95, 13 is 93, 12 is 91, 11 is 89, 10 is 86, 9 is 84, and 8 is 82, and plus 7 is 80. You're never going to be set up any lower than plus 7 for your Grizzly shot, right? And if you're using a Guardian to play the Guardian shot up on the green, all I did was estimate my slider distance and, placed it where I recommend that it would be placed, and you should be good to go. You don't have to get too crazy with that one, because at that point, we're just making sure that we're getting the eagle and then maybe trying to give it, a luck box chance to drop. But that's it. That's this hole in a nutshell. Very tough drop. Very hard to get tweaked out and dialed in. So I gave you the best that I have. It still may need some minor changes depending on, your play style and what sort of results you're getting. But the approach, P4 plus 10 if you're playing the Grizzly bounce up. If you're playing the slice shot, P3 plus 5. Right? If you're playing the Grizzly bounce up, P3 plus 5. Wish you the best of luck. Hope you get the drop. And if I can find something better with the Win 5 ball, I will try to get that posted as soon as possible. I will be looking for it. Just not sure exactly when I will be able to get it out. So good luck, everyone. Hopefully, we'll get some easier wins on the next few holes.